Let's be honest, we don't always feel like going for a run. Whether it be from lack of motivation, willpower, time availability, the weather, or the body just doesn't feel like it, we can always find an excuse not to run. The thing with running is once you get out that door, it's very rare that you will regret going for the run. It's far more likely you'll regret not going. So, how do we make sure that we force ourselves out the door when the voice in our head is telling us 101 excuses not to go? A running buddy can be the perfect answer. Knowing that you have arranged to meet someone at a particular time to share a run makes it far more likely that you'll turn up. It makes it a lot harder to give in to those voices in the head or to be tempted to hit the snooze button one more time. Someone is out there waiting for you, dependent on you, and you on them. A running buddy can be a friend, family member, work colleague, coach or trainer, or a running group. It might be someone with running experience, or it may be someone who is just new to running. It doesn't matter if you're not the same level of fitness. If your running buddy is someone who is a faster runner than you, they may use the workout as their easy pace run for the week. If it's someone that is slower than you, they may use the workout as their tempo, faster pace run to help them improve both speed and endurance. Or perhaps they may teach you to slow down if you have a tendency to go out too fast and hard, resulting in a crash and burn. A running buddy is also someone you can turn to for advice or opinion in regards to your running journey. And not just your running journey, but life. Perhaps you're thinking of a new shoe or considering signing up for a race event. Perhaps you feel your foot strike is wrong or that you're running with a hunched posture. A running buddy can provide a welcoming opinion. For those considering getting into running, no, for all runners, I highly recommend finding a running buddy. And if you can, more than one. Sure, you might enjoy the solitude of running, and that is both great and important. Make sure you do have a solo run once a week. It can be very refreshing and just de-stressing. But from personal experience, it can be so rewarding having a buddy who is sharing the journey with you. Someone you know who is waiting out there on a frosty winter morning when you really don't want to step outside. Someone who is available to make sure you get to fit that lunchtime run in when you don't think you have time. The buddies from the running group that motivate you to give that extra push when you feel you have nothing left, or to encourage you to hang in there when your running journey has been derailed. A running buddy can show you a new route, hill to run, or be there for protection from dogs, magpies, snakes, cars, or any other obstacle that might come your way. Running is not seen as a team sport, but the buddies that you make in the sport and share the running journey with ensure that not only will you enjoy a lifetime of running, but you will create a lifetime of running memories that it would be hard to do solo. Everyone, welcome. I am Andrew Neville, here for another episode of the Running with Heart podcast. I'm on mission 231, training to run the Sonda Monster 231 kilometres of the Lara Pinta Trail in May 2022, and I'm doing it all for the Heart Foundation. Running buddies. That article I just read, or blog, I wrote on the 11th of January 2018 for my business, Ant Fitness's website. And it does sum up the running buddy and the importance of the running buddy and what a vital role they play in your running journey, but also your life, and how I said there in my words how I really think it's important that if you don't have one, you find one to share the journey with. Yes, it's important to do your solo runs and to have that time to yourself running. Great time to clear the head and think. But the running buddy can offer so much in terms of experience, in terms of support, encouragement, accountability. And they will also be there to listen, to talk to, so you can listen to them. It's a two-way street. And it's someone or a group of people to share the adventure of running with and to share the journey with. So this week's episode, I want to touch on some of the running buddies I've had over my running journey from my younger days to now. And I can honestly say that I wouldn't be where I am, I wouldn't be enjoying the journey like I am if it wasn't for my running buddies, and I've had lots, and I still have lots. And as I said in my blog, it's important to have a variety of different runners too, from experience to age. Um, and if you can be part of a running group, it also makes it better because you get the whole group dynamics then too, and that's important to draw on. Back in my earlier days of running, in my teenage years, my very first running buddy, I can't remember their name. I only went on one run with them. It was a guy. He was a youth worker in Mudgee, attached to the church and the Police Boys Club, the PCYC. And we were talking in the weight room at the PCYC one day. I was getting to weights, probably for the first time, to be honest. And then, we decided to go on a run. I can't remember how far we ran. I can remember running past the Mudgee Showground, but I can also remember not being as quick as him, and really pushing to try and keep up and huffing and puffing and finishing with hands on knees. That's about all I remember of my first running buddy. Also, a friend I would meet up with early in the morning in Mudgee, a couple of friends actually, and we'd meet at the top of my street and we'd go for a run. I was going to say it's probably about 5Ks. I think it was about half an hour, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It wasn't a huge long run, but it was a great opportunity just to socialise, to get fit. I always had that fitness bug, and that was a great opportunity. But the one thing it did show me, and it's probably when I first learnt it, was the accountability side of it. When you'd wake up in the morning, and at this stage I was in year 11, or maybe year 10, year 11, year 12, and typical teenager, you're not always keen to get up early, but knowing you had a friend waiting for you at 6 a.m. in the morning or 6:30 or 7 a.m. before school, you didn't want to let them down, so you'd make sure you're out of bed and you're up there standing on the corner waiting for them to arrive, and then off you go, and you spend 20-30 minutes just chatting, running, walking, and enjoying the fresh morning air. But that's probably when I first learned about the accountability, the importance of it. And again, a two-way street. I was accountable to them and they were accountable to me. And it's very rare that you would ever let a friend down or a family member down when you arrange to meet an early hour of the morning. Then, obviously, when I started my business, and which I've touched on before, had a client wanting to do City Surf as a goal. We were running buddies, whether it was in a professional sense, myself being the personal trainer, him being the client, but also as mates. And we shared quite a few runs, from Portland out to Meadow Flat in preparation for City Surf. We also ran from Portland to Wayne, town about 10 k's away. And again, yes, I was helping him achieve his goals, but he was also helping me achieve mine of being able to run City Surf for the very first time, as I'd tried numerous years before that. So, and that's where the running buddies come into it. You don't realise a lot of the time when you're out there with someone, sharing the run and sharing the journey, the impact that you are having on them, and the impact that they don't realise the impact that they're having on you. And it's really important to, I guess, not underestimate the value of that. And I guess in a way the confidence it gives you, and the lessons you learn, and even the de-stressing when you get to talk. I've spoken about Craig, my running buddy now. Craig's been a running buddy since, I think, 2014, and we've shared many a run together and many adventure together and many what's the word? I was going to say climax. Problems together, I guess, where things have gone wrong on runs, and that's it in races as well. Running buddies just aren't people you run with in training. You can also share races with them. So the first, I'm going to read some of my journal entries that touch on the running buddies. The first one I'm going to read is my three kids who have been running buddies to me at different times, but this one is in preparation for the New York Marathon back in 2013, in September. I'd been crook. I'd run a really good half marathon in Mudgee a few weeks before, came down with a cough that just would not go away. It was starting to really stress me out a bit, whether I was going to be able to shake it in time and get my fitness back up in time to run New York Marathon for the Heart Foundation. And this was the first chance I think I had after that cough. So Sunday, the 29th of September. I've got here a promising start to the day that signifies 5 weeks to race day. It's so hard to believe it's only 35 days till I run the New York City Marathon for the Heart Foundation. After coughing so much yesterday and having doubts as to whether I'd be able to complete my long run today, I woke to find I was coughing less, and for the first time in a few weeks, I could actually visualise myself completing my long run for the week. I planned a 5-kilometre loop run that I would complete 6 laps of to give me my goal of 30 kilometres. This meant I wouldn't have to travel too far from home in case I had a coughing fit or suddenly didn't feel well. My first 5-kilometre loop involved lots of coughing, and I started to think that I wasn't going to get more than 5 kilometres in today. Tabitha joined me for my second loop, and the slightly slower pace was enough to keep my heart rate up but ease the coughing. My third lap saw a return of the coughing, and again negative thoughts entered the mind about not being able to complete my goal distance. Winston joined me on the fourth lap, and again the coughing ceased with a slightly slower pace. The legs felt really heavy and tired during this lap, and it was when I resigned myself to the fact that I would cut the run down to 25 kilometres. Doing 30 kilometres on my first long run in 3 weeks was perhaps asking too much, and I wanted to make sure I was right to build on the run next week and the week after. Dalton joined me on the fifth and final lap, and I crossed 21.1 kilometres off. I reflected that my time was 30 minutes longer than the Mudgee Half only a month ago. So it was great, and that's just one instance when I've run with the kids. But yeah, just to have them join me on that run in preparation for New York, it was going to be a family experience. We were all getting to go across there, and to have them share my training was special for me. But also at that stage, they were on different parts of their journey, whether it be school cross country or weekend sport, and running races, had their own goals. And so, yeah, just a special opportunity to share running with my kids in that regard. Dalton, I shared another run with, or an important run with, I guess, because I've done many runs with them, was probably 2 weeks after my anxiety began in 2019, where he returned home from uni, and he was doing the City Surf the next month and was going out for a run. And that was the first time I actually got out the door to go for a run, and it was only 20 or so minutes. I think we ran up to the St. Joey's school and back. But it's a run I would not have done without Dalton there, and for that I'm truly grateful. I remember we both found it really hard. It was really hot, but just the fact that he was able, without realising it, to get me out the door to go on that run was really special and important to where I am now, because they're all stepping stones. I talk a lot in my business in Ant Fitness about goals and setting the big goals and the stepping stones across your river to get to the other bank, which is your goal. And without that first run, which led to City Surf a few weeks later, and then led to me doing some more smaller runs, and then running with Craig, and it builds. It's like an avalanche, a build or a snowball building as it rolls down the hill. And without all that, I wouldn't be where I am today with the confidence to be able to go out there and run and train for 231 kilometres. So that was a really important run that I ran with Dalton that day. Another one is over the years in preparation for City Surf. I've often talked about the runs from Portland and Meadow Flat, which Wayne and myself did the first couple of years, and then as we built the running group in the gym in Ant Fitness, more and more people sort of joined us on the run from Portland to Meadow Flat. In 2014, I've written down on the Sunday, the 6th of July. In the morning, I ran to Meadow Flat with two mates from the gym. They're both doing City Surf and haven't done the Meadow Flat run before. And then a few weeks later, 2 new people joined us on that same run. And on those runs, you're all different pace, you're all different speeds and paces and fitness levels. If you go out and enjoy the run, you might hold back and run with someone, and then you'll go ahead, and then they'll run ahead, and you're toing and froing between the different runners in the group, and just chatting and socialising and motivating and encouraging as you come to a hard climb. You're egging each other on to get up to the top, pushing. And that's what running buddies are all about, having them there to push you through the tough times and through the hard times. I've also run with my brother on numerous occasions. I remember one particular in Sydney a few years ago where he took me on the bike paths around, I guess, the lower harbour and through the trails there, and really enjoyed that. And again, something I could share with my wife, Monique, and the kids. We'd go back there and do those same trails and try and find our way down to the water. But they're the important runs where you get to find new locations, get shown new locations that you can then go back and enjoy again with other people. And it's that flow and effect that, my brother's showing me um, that time. And then I remember we were down there probably 2 years ago, and I think it was for his daughter's birthday party actually, and we had some time to kill in the morning before the party. So we drove across to where he used to live and parked the car and found the trails and went on a bushwalk in that area. So by having different running buddies in different locations, you get to see new sights, which you then get to show to other people, and you don't know who they'll show it to. So it's encouraging that sense of the running community, I guess, as well. Then, of course, you've got the experiences that you share with your running buddies. I remember one morning, it was an Australia Day morning. There was a group of us from the gym who decided to do what we call the Castlereagh Loop, the Portland and Cullen Loop. So you run from Portland down Cullen Road to Cullenbullen, up the Castlereagh Highway, over the big hill, down to the power station at Mount Piper, and then back and along the Boulder Road. And I think it was 4, it could have been 6 of us that morning. Again, range of fitness levels and running experiences. But we met at 5:30, and again, it shows the dedication and that accountability you have to each other, that at that, I'll call it a weird hour of the morning. A lot of people say it's a weird hour. Best time of the day, I think, before the sunrise. But we all met there and, all keen to go out into the unknown, especially when you're starting that day in that dawn sort of area. Like, it's that the mystery of the new day, the mystery of the darkness that you're setting out in with head torches on, and the glimmer of red on the horizon of the promise of the new day as the sun comes up, and sharing, the sunrise moments and the fog lifting in the paddocks. Yeah, you can do that on your own, and it's great when you do, and you might snap a photo or whatever, and then you tell someone, a work colleague or a family member, about it when you come home or go to work. I saw the sunrise this morning, or I saw the frost on the trees or the cars, but when you get to share it with someone at that moment, it's just that extra little bit special, I believe. But always remember that Australia Day run with that group of friends as well from the gym. And then, of course, you've got, I was going to share one with you, one that Craig and myself experienced. And this is where the running buddy is there to encourage you and support and motivate. And this is from Sunday the 5th of January 2020. The early morning 40-kilometre long run was canned due to the heavy smoke that blew in overnight from the devastating bushfires. It wasn't clearing through the day, so I had to make do with an improvised long run on the treadmill. I met Craig at the gym at 2 p.m, feeling nervous from all the mental challenge that lay ahead. So much more could be written about this one. The plan was 30 Ks, or a 3-hour cardio workout on a treadmill. On paper, it looks like I'm a long way short. So we end up doing 15 Ks in 90 minutes. Numbers need to be forgotten. It was tough, extremely tough. It was one of my toughest runs, perhaps ever. The fact that I had tripped on a moving treadmill just after starting and grazed my knee had nothing to do with it. The temperature in the gym was more than 31 degrees, and although we were positioned under the air conditioning and 3 fans blowing on us, it felt every bit of 30 degrees plus some more. We ran with packs on. By the time the run was complete and 40 minutes recovery had passed, I had drunk 1.5 litres of Powerade, a litre of water, and 500 ml of chocolate milk. It didn't feel like enough. The one gel at 60 minutes probably could have been 2. The run was broken into 10 kilometres, a 2-minute rest, and 5 kilometres. Incline 2 was regarded as the flat, and there were long hills and rolling hills. The 15 kilometres felt like 27 kilometres. 2 hours later, it felt like it had been 37 kilometres. Headache after stopping. Tired content, not really. A mental battle. Need to forget the numbers. I think it's one of those workouts that you look back on in the future, hopefully on race day, draw on it, and then afterwards go, because of that treadmill long run. And that's an example of, as I said, it was tough. 15 Ks felt like 27. I could not have done that without my running buddy next to me. I think I would have stopped a long way short. I ran not a few months ago an hour on the treadmill, an hour 10. It was really, really, really tough because I was on my own. To have that running buddy next to you, going through it with you, sharing the pain, the discomfort, it keeps you going. And you don't want to let them down. You don't want to be the reason that they stop. If you stop, they generally stop. So you want to keep going to help them to keep going. And it's the same when you run with your running buddy in a race. You're there to push each other on, to work off each other with pace and encouragement. But again, you have those days where they drag you behind, or you're behind them and they drag you along. Your legs are heavy, you think you just can't go any further, and you just think, if I just stick with them, I just stick with them. And again, it works two ways. You can be that person that's dragging your running buddy along on those occasions as well. So yeah, they're really good in that sense. And then of course you've got the running buddies who are there to talk to and listen to. My mate Tom played a big part in my anxiety journey. I'm truly grateful for his mateship. He'd come across from Bathurst and run with me, just short 5K runs, talk to me about my mental health, about how I was feeling, what I was thinking. And there were numerous times after classes at the gym that he would stay back and talk, or he would listen. I would do the talking, but he'd probe with the right questions as well. And that's the thing with running buddies, that yes, your buddies in the run, but it's the mateship that you share outside of the running situation or the running scene. It's, the after runs, the before runs, the after classes. You form that friendship and mateship and relationship where you can feel you can call on them at any time of the day and for any problem you may have in life in general. Definitely the mateship and the friendship of a running buddy goes a lot more than just the run itself. And then I've had personal training clients as well who have known of my anxiety battles and that, who I've got to share conversations with, and they've been able to provide advice on runs, giving advice while we've been running. And I'm truly grateful for their friendship and being there for me as a buddy. Because again, for me to be here today in preparation, in the middle of preparation for running 231 kilometres, it's all my running buddies that I've shared the time with that have got me to this point. They've built me up, they've kept me going, and without that, I wouldn't be where I am today preparing for the Sonda Monster. And of course, I've got my beautiful wife Monique, who's been my running buddy as well as my best friend and wife. And it's just great that we can share our passion of the bush, nature, the trails, running, and bushwalking and hiking. We get to do that together, and our friendship and love for each other has grown through that as well, being able to share that time together. And she has been there for everything for me through my ups and downs. And again, like a good running buddy and a good best friend and a good wife, she's known what to say and what to do to get me out the door, to pick me up when I've been down, to encourage me, to motivate me, and to make me push for my dreams and my goals, and be there every step of the way for me. So I'm truly grateful for that as well. And of course, the running group, another form of running buddy, through Ant Fitness formed the Portland Hillbillies, originally the Kilometre Club. And the memories and adventures and experiences we've shared is that alone is motivating on the running journey. The running group probably started, in all honesty, with 2 or 3 people meeting on a Friday night for a 30-minute run. It then grew to 3 classes a week, where we had a speed session, we had a hill session, we had the group weekly run. And we'd turn up in the middle of winter with head torches and jackets and beanies and everything on, good gloves on, to do the king and queen of the mountain, who could correctly guess the time it would take them to run up a hill 3 times. Things like that. And it's what keeps you coming back. And then as the group grew, we've gone off to the running festival of Orange, Mudgee, and then the big one on the Gold Coast. I think that was back in 2015 where we took a group up to there, and we all had a great time sharing the Gold Coast Marathon Festival experience together, and the sights of the Gold Coast as well. Dinner on the beach, that sort of thing. So, and the memories that last with you, you don't forget them. You don't forget about going to Mudgee and seeing the person who has just started running 6 months earlier, running a 10K race or a 5K race. And as a runner, you don't forget when you're coming into that finish chute, whether it be on the Gold Coast or whether it's at Mudgee or Sitters Surf or Orange, where it may be, and your running buddies from your running group are leaning over the fence, high-fiving you, cheering you on, chanting for you. And then it's all, the back slapping when you cross the finish line and the team photos and the hugs. Australia's big on mateship, and your running buddies are your pure definition of Australian mateship. They've got your back. They're there for you, regardless of the situation, regardless of the time of day, and you create lifelong memories that you'll cherish forever. So I'm truly grateful for my running buddies that I've had. I'm sure everyone's got their own running buddy stories and their own running buddies that they depend on. And I encourage everyone to send a message to your running buddy, whether it be on social media or via text, or give them a call, arrange to go for a run with them, but just thank them for being there, thank them for being a buddy. Because it's unspoken, I think. I don't think we thank them enough. I think it's sort of taken for granted that we turn up, we run, we do our thing, even with the running group, the Hillbillies. We're a great fun group, and when we can turn up, we've gone online lately, and we've done Zoom runs even, but you do take it for granted that, the motivation you give to each other and to myself as the trainer, I can't underestimate that. The amount of motivation my running group has given me, especially through my tough times with injury and the anxiety. It gave me a weekly run sometimes in that anxiety journey, just to know the Hillbillies were there and coming for a weekly run meet on the Monday night. But yeah, give your running buddy a message and thank them for being there for you, and make sure you're always there for them. Before we wrap up, training. Update on the injured ankle. Good news, it's coming along nicely. It's 2 weeks since it happened, and I've set myself up being self-coached with a 2-week rehab program, where this week was all about still doing the weights, the upper body weights and the stretching, and then doing some longer walks, with a hope to progress that this week coming into perhaps a short run. By that I mean a minute into those walks, and then by the end of next week, hoping to be in a position where I can start running fully again. The good news is, today being Saturday, the 4th of September, I was out there with my wife, my running buddy Monique. She was doing a run and I was doing a walk, and I was actually able to run for 3 lots of running intervals. One was 2.5 minutes, a 2-minute one, and then a 30-second one. And that was really, really good. Really enjoyed it. Felt awesome to run on it. The ankle's pulled up okay from it. It's a bit sore to touch, but really promising. It's had a big week. I've been recording a lot of online classes for Ant Fitness, so it's copped a fair beating this week and it's put up really well. And I'm probably ahead of where I expected to be. So that is all good signs moving forward. And hopefully perhaps I can get out the balance board now and start strengthening the ligaments and tendons around the ankle, so I can make sure. That's one thing I can notice, it's feeling weak when I'm running on it. So I've just got to build up the strength on it. But really happy with the progress, and hopefully can keep moving in that direction. We're going to be announcing our next fundraising activity this week. The skipping's going awesome. We've had a few people finish off already. Congratulations to them. But in the coming days, watch the social media for the new fundraising walking challenge coming. Be good to look forward to. Thanks for listening, everyone. And don't forget, always run with heart.